Hi, stream. We're back. Woo!
Yeah.
We're upstream.
Whoa.
So yeah, we got to play in person again after some delicious food. Um, quick recap of what happened. The party continued getting ready for a dinner party with Valier's family, the Warsanoks, the owners operators of Warsanok Fineries, a textile company that's works out of Silicon Valley, which we are currently um, Saishori and Viesa, Valier's sister, as alongside Seven, got a little tipsy, got a little conversation going, dove deep into some of the history, some of the people involved, a little bit about Suji, a little bit about the rest of the group, while getting pampered and dressed finely. And as the boys got ready on Valier's side, eventually the six of you, along with Viesa, regrouped in Viesa's room. Um, to have a little pre-dinner conversations. Valir, you brought up the fabric that was attached to some of these time robot assassins that have you recently encountered on the airship on your way here to Silicon Valley. Um, After going into deep investigation on this piece of cloth, Viesa ran to her bedroom, picked out a large stack of blueprints and sketches, and brought it back to you, basically showing you that she has been working on something just like this. It is a prototype that she, or at least a design that she had been working on to bring the functional version of Warsanok silks, which can be very battle tested and used for military purposes, but isn't always the most flattering and fancy, to basically still be able to keep some of the nicer finities of it, but still be very strong and battle hardy. She had been working on different stitching patterns and different ways to use the spider silk. In clothing and for specifically for battle, but also to be fashionable at the same time. She showed you the blueprints and how this is basically the end result of something she had been working on for several months, possibly a year now. And the kicker was at the bottom of kind of the inseam, she pointed out that this is indeed something not just of hers, but of not just of the family, but of hers specifically, showing that in the stitching, very finely hidden, unless you know what you're looking for, was a W, which looks vaguely like the Warsanok family crest, but is slightly different. Instead of being a perfect W, it is actually the intercrossing of two V's, which was a symbol that Viesa and Valir used when they were kids, kind of like their like twin mark. Um, After confirming this, having a few more drinks, you remembered that it was time for dinner. So you all gathered together, put the blueprints. You gave your sister one of the cloths to keep to kind of speed up her timeline a little bit on when she thinks she could have this finished. And the party made their way downstairs, through the front foyer, through a kind of a dancing chamber, and all the way back to the back dining hall. Upon reaching the dining hall, you were instructed to use the right half of the banquet table. Um, Drinks and some salads and snacks were put out, as you all kind of took into the room. Eventually, um, Duran introduced the Lord and Lady Warsanok, to the party as they made their entrance. Valir, you saw your father still dressed finely, but more relaxed. Instead of his normal, dinner jacket and fine suits, he was in more of a casual, almost like a sweatsuit, but still made of like very fine Orsanok silks. Your mother was dressed fabulously as always. Um, but they made their way over to you and your friends, instead of your normal father's, cold demeanor. You were embraced with a hug, um, as he told you and your friends you may call him Andy. Um, the full name for the nickname recently taken on by your father, Adronis Orsanok. Uh, the lady of the house would like to still be referred to as her ladyship, or um, Ida Lily, if we're going to be a little bit more formal. Eventually, you all sat down for dinner. Valir, you caught up with your father, talking about some of his adventures, some of the things that you have seen and done over the last few months as you've been gone since the monastery. Um, Suji and Viesa had some interesting moments across sitting next to each other at the table as Viesa had made her intentions known to Zaishori in private that she had done a lot of relationships for political or business reasons, and she is trying to try something different and sees Suji as someone she was just interested in as an actual person and trying to figure out what the hell that means. um Minor flirting and distractions from Revi, distracting the mother, and kind of giving yourself up to the fact that you understood that she was partly the mostly the reason why you were all here and why Valir was summoned. Um, you distracted from the goings on the other side of the table as drinks and appetizers were eaten and drank. A guest appeared before all of you. A older, um, dark elven skin, large staff, um, entered the dining hall, addressed Adronis, congratulating him that his son had returned, reminding him that a deal had been made with Mother that needs to be appeased and that the time would be soon. Um, without saying much other to do, she turned to leave, and as the doors closed, crashing through the stained glass windows of the dining hall, spiders descended upon the table. A fight ensued, and while you were taking care of this large grouping of spiders that was attacking the table and attacking the Warsanox and yourselves, another creature through that first set of double doors throws a huge harpoon, catches Viesa in the shoulder, drags her out as Valir and Suji give chase, unable to catch up to this deftly moving humanoid but still insectoid slash arachnid type creature. You hard to get good visual on what it was. It was moving so quickly, dragging Viesa through the ballroom, out the front doors, and into some sort of hall or cavern before you could in the streets before you could get eyes on where its final destination was. As the rest of you finished cleaning up the spiders in the dining hall, Suji, Valir, you rejoined the rest of your party. Valir, your parents. And we'll pick up from there.
So we're me and Suju are back in the dining hall with everybody else, right?
Yes, yeah. This
Okay,
is after the two of you realized that you had lost the trail and turned back to rejoin the rest of the party as they finished cleaning up the spiders that were stragglers in the dining hall.
cool. So as I walk in, I just kind of like quietly but kind of loud, like I'm trying to be calm about it, but you could tell I'm pretty pissed off about it, and I just say out loud, they took her. They took Viesa. She we tried to catch her. sh- She's just gone. And I make my way over to my parents and kind of like um smash my fist into the table and ask them like, "What the heck did you guys just do?"
Are they still sitting next to each other right now? Just trying to get context for the room.
Everyone is standing currently. Half of the dining hall. You see servants are coming in to put out the fire of the banquet table that's half engulfed in flames from the fireball that blew up in the room. Um, but yes, Adronis and Ida Lily had, both had Adronis had sustained a wound. He was attacked by one of the spiders. You can see that he is kind of like holding his side. And as Valir, your mother and father kind of look as you entered the room, and then have that like moment of like hope, but then that crestfallen look when they realize that you have returned and your sister is not with you. You see your mother. While your mother looks concerned, she looks to your father in this moment, and you can see he has just a look of panic, slight anger, a little bit of confusion on his face as well. No, this doesn't make sense. That's too early. Why would they? No, no, no. This is not right. You didn't. They took her. She's not. Dear, oh dear.
She's not what? Was she not the one supposed to be taken? Was this supposed to be me?
No, neither of you were supposed to be taken. This wasn't the deal. This wasn't.
Why was anyone taken in the first place?
What goddamn deal? Why don't you fucking spit it out? Your daughter was just taken out of the room. Or, and I turn back to the mother, or you can give me the explanation I believe I told you you owed me.
I would say everyone can give me an insight check.
Like, oh, when you said the deal part, I want to smash the table and yell, "What deal?"
All right. Okay. So in this moment, Revi, as you speak up, and Suji and Seven, as you slam the table even harder than everybody else, and you watch as parts of it start to kind of crack and splinter under your large gauntlet fists. Revi, Suji, Valir, and Seven. In this moment, you and Vintef.
He's on the phone.
Looking, yeah, looking at the like Ida Lily in this moment, and even at Adronis himself. You all get the sense that Ida Lily is also looking at her husband with anticipation. That sense of she doesn't see. She knew something was going on. That something was weird was happening in the house. She does not know what this conversation is about to be about. She is also in kind of the same boat as you, that she's ready for explanations. Like her husband has not kept her in the loop on whatever the fuck
Got
this is.
Got it. So yeah, if we note the confusion, and or at least if I do, looking at her demanding that explanation. Right. I see you've been caught off guard too. Well, back to the man of the hour then.
Right. Yes. No. Yes, we have to move quickly. Things. Well, you all came in through the front gate. You saw the statue of the founding of this town. Yes.
Suji just mumbles like, I just kind of saw spiders.
There were a lot of spiders.
Yes. This town wasn't always prosperous, peaceful place, the utopia, the coexistence you see now between elf and spider. When our people long ago first settled here after breaking off from, the different, not tribes, but you know what I mean, the different elven lineages, we settled here. We thought that the cavern and the valley would give us some protections, and there was a decent amount of resources, but it was not the most hospitable. There are several dangers that exist, and he kind of points to Valir. As you said, you fought a chimera on your way here. That is just one of the many things that lives within the valley that we and our ancestors and our people used to have to contend with if they wanted to stay here, as well as the spiders. There was many a fight between us and the spiders. I I was not a man of means. I was not someone who his family came here with a lot. Not many of us came here with anything, honestly, as this was, again, we left looking for opportunity and something we could do because we were not in a good spot where we were. I I traveled deep within the mountains, into the valley itself, into the caves below. I sought audience with what we assume, what I had to assume was a leader, a mother, a guardian, whatever. The spiders were always too intelligent to not have some sort of hierarchy, some system in place. So I I risked my life because, honestly, if I was going to die, as well, might as well die trying to do something, right? I traveled deep into the valley, into the darkness below. I met with the mother that they spoke of, the queen of spiders, if you will. We bargained. She took me prisoner for some time. We spoke at length of what our people could do with each other, what do for each other, and after some serious convincing, she was intelligent, and as many of the spiders are. She saw the benefits of us working together, our people coming together to form a civilization to cultivate this area into something more prosperous for both sides. She promised my family would be well taken care of, prosperous, bring something to the world that the world has not seen before. He gestures to the fabrics and the silks.
What was your part in this exchange, Andy?
She offered me she offered me to keep control and for 300 years.
Hmm.
A test period, if you will. At the end of which I would be hers. I would return to the valley. I would return to the underdark below, and she would do whatever it is she needed to do with me. Um, and my family would still be taken care of. That was my caveat. And hers was that my first son would inherit the company, inherit the city, would inherit what I left behind, and a new deal would be struck, and things would move forward.
How long has it been?
It'll be
You said
300.
You said too soon before.
The 300-year mark anniversary would be 8 months from now.
So what? I kind of look at Valir. She's leverage? Make sure he fulfills his end of the bargain?
I don't know. Hopefully not. I mean, I look over to my father. I'm just like, knowing you are a man of your word. I know you will go back. As as much as it hurts you to leave this place and leave us, I know you're gonna fulfill your end of the deal. You always have with every business you always had. And I understand your confusion of like, why is everything happening so soon now?
You see your father kind of looking deep in the. He picked up his glass, has taken a few sips, to calm his nerves. It kind of stares into it for half a second as you say that. I know why she is doing this now. I have a feeling I know why she's doing this.
And what is that?
She, as I said, was intelligent. There was one other caveat to the agreement. As I said, my firstborn son would take over and inherit what we have made here, and would take over the business, but would see fit that the rest of my family, was taken care of.
Why would she even make this deal with you? What's so special about you? Since the deal seems extremely good on your side. 300 years?
Honestly, part of it was definitely she did not. She did not have an understanding of our lifespan, I believe, was part of it. I don't think we even at that point we didn't have a full understanding of what an elven lifespan really was. So partially was that. I think the 300 was her throwing out a number that she thought sounded ridiculous. Because the deal was I would have power for 300 years. As long as I was alive, the deal would be intact. So I think she assumed I would die well before 300.
Your end of
But
the
if you're
bargain simply to give yourself in return, was it not?
and your son would take over the business, she seems to gain almost nothing from this from a stranger.
Except you. But then nothing if you die.
And a firstborn son. You see, he kind of averts his gaze from Valir, from his wife.
You wait, you promised him to them, not just yourself?
I promised my firstborn son would inherit the company and the village and its protection and its wealth. And her caveat being a intelligent creature that she was, had me lay with her till she bare a child.
There it is.
Yo, he's some freaky freak stuff. Okay.
You see your mother
okay.
full on glass out of hand.
Tinkers, you had a feeling it was going that direction too, didn't you?
Oh yeah, he totally banged that spider. That's what
Yeah.
happened. Yeah.
I mean, you don't give up an entire town for 300 years without some reason.
So,
God.
so a spider gave you all this power just to have sex with it? What?
What?
I mean, are you not familiar?
Automatic love 7.
No.
Are you not familiar with the depravity of men and elves, Suji? I can't say it's the most shocking thing I've ever heard in exchange for sex or love, whatever this Spider Queen perceives. But that still doesn't explain why a creature with the patience and temperament to wait 299 years and 4 months couldn't simply wait another 8.
I feel like there's has to be more to this story. This is preposterous.
I agree, Suji.
You see, the mother is like, yes, there has to be more to this story. Yes, Adronis?
Oh, she's hearing this shit for the first time too. The spider.
Yes.
I thought maybe she knew, but like not about the the sun part or whatever.
she
Oh no.
she knew he made a deal with the spiders to make everlasting peace and prosperity for the family. That was before they got married.
Yeah.
She
So
didn't know about the everlasting love, you know?
Yeah.
we're watching a rich elitist lady's world come crashing down.
We need Jerry.
Yes. There is in fact a reason why, and the only thing I can think of is she found out. She gave me time to think about it. She did not force my hand the moment I was there and made the deal. God, how could she have found out? It doesn't matter. Her offspring is not my first child.
Found out about what?
How many children do you have?
At least 4.
How many are spiders?
Are you saying there's another elven son besides Valir? Or was there another spider?
I saw some massive scorpion. Was that an elf spider? What the fuck was that?
Are you my dad?
Oh my god, Tinkers, why did I make those jokes about elf spiders? This is not good.
Everything you think of comes to fruition. Stop thinking.
I will, Tinkers.
I turned to Valir. Did you know you had other brothers and sisters?
I knew only of my sister. I didn't know this whole spider ordeal or that he had other children before me. So who are they?
So this Spider Queen, Valir, this Spider Queen believed that her spider son would be taking over the business.
Apparently.
So
But if it's not technically, am I the one born before the spider, or there's someone else before me?
No, you and your sister were born of your mother after we got married. We didn't get married until almost 100 years after this city was formed. Um. Okay. After she had proposed the offer to me, I told her I needed some time to think about it. I left Silicon Valley for a bit. I traveled home. I traveled back to home. Silicon Valley is my home, but I traveled back to the capital of Fallen. I sought audience with some of the elders. They didn't have time for a no name elf from a group that went out north to start a new civilization. So I just traveled for a bit. I ended up south. I traveled the sea. I went to the Trag. I stayed in a lovely town for several months. I met someone. She was quick witted, funny, loved fashion, loved. I was there for several months. And when I found out she was pregnant, I panicked, but also saw an opportunity of course, this was the loophole. This was what I could use. I left. I returned home. I sought her out. I made the deal unchanged, knowing that I must have had I had the upper hand. I had a way to keep my people safe, keep our families safe. And so I did. That is that was the last I thought about it until several months ago when I knew that the time was coming that I would have to leave. And I started just making sure all of my paperwork was aligned, all my information was prepared, orders of succession. Uh, I was supposed to have more time.
You said loophole. Is this a signed contract?
It is.
I just kind of look at Valir at this point. I don't really know what to say.
Well, I know your intentions were well, with all this and stuff. I, I mean, this, she probably does know that you kind of tricked her in a way, but not directly. Um,
How would she have just found out now, Valir? I,
I-
it,
I
wait,
don't know.
what? How are you not at all curious who this other your apparently older brother, who this person is? Are they elven? They half human?
That's what I was about to ask. Have you seen your other child?
I have not. That was part of me keeping them safe, I suppose. Them existing protected the town and my family here. But me not knowing where they were protected them from God knows whatever she would have done if she found it out. She found out where they were.
I see.
Wouldn't it, Valir? Unless I haven't made many of these contracts. I would assume you're more familiar with them. But to fulfill the deal, wouldn't this person have had to come in and take over? Otherwise, it's a violation of the agreement. I mean, I know you, Andy, you claim you're protecting your family, but once this was found out, theoretically, I mean, the Spider Queen could have just unleashed her wrath on the town anyway. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something, but
Well, I mean, there's no reason hiding it now. That was the paperwork I was preparing. It was the fact that once I left, I assume either she would have sent our son to claim the business and claim everything for himself. I was preparing documents to essentially claim that the contract stated that my firstborn son should take over the company, and that my firstborn son is in Vertrag, and therefore it would have delayed at least the process of him gaining control of the company because a true heir successor via the contract did exist, and it was not him. And that in the meantime, the company would default to its estate, which he points to his wife and Villier and kind of just looks towards the doorway where Viesa was pulled out. That's what I've been working on for months. That's what I've been meeting with different business partners and officials and trying to get my paperwork in order to make sure that when the time came, I would surrender myself willingly. And after I had gone and the process started, at least that's when the ball would have started rolling, and it would have at least given us time. It would have given Valia time to figure out what comes next. What comes next?
So you're
Yes.
telling me
What?
you just set me up for more problems?
He cannot look you in the eye right now. He is just head down, just
I think it's pretty obvious that regardless of how she found out, Valia, your sister was taken because clearly your father's attempted deceit was uncovered.
Yes.
So, how deep in the mountains are we talking about here, Andy? Because I might not know you, but I know Valia, and I know the care he has for his sister. Even if we were to help you, how do we even go about that? Are we going to walk out your door and have to fight an army of spiders before we even make it to our destination? I assume their loyalty is to her.
yes. And, I can give you direction to how to get to her. The majority of, again, I cannot guarantee it, but the contract is still in place, and if she does intend to take over the village and keep even a semblance of what the arrangement was, the majority of the spiders would probably be keeping status quo, either because they don't know to do it or because they know to keep up appearances. I don't think we're quite at a point of full on warfare yet, I hope. Um
Right. Well, I don't know what to make the situation to deal with. The only thing I know is that Viesa needs to be here. She will know far better than I of how to deal with the situation. Let's be real. Between her and I, she always cared more about this business. She was in this business. If anything, that all this should have been left to her, and you know that. But thanks to your contract, that's not possible.
I mean, let's be honest, Valia. If it wasn't for his contract, it sounds like your family would have none of this.
It's true. It's very much true.
Obviously, the Spider Queen went about this in the wrong way, and I do not advocate for her kidnapping of your sister.
Yeah.
But
I kind of.
have she just taking it from that perspective. If we approach this, are we going in diplomatically, violently? This is a very unique dynamic, Valia. I think you need to
Well,
tell us what we're doing here.
well, we can try to talk. I mean, she is smart apparently, so I'm sure she'll be civil for the most part. But if it comes to it, I mean, we're not afraid to get our hands dirty, as you already seen us do these past couple times, you know. I walk over to my mother and like place my hand on her shoulder. It's kind of like that side. Just kind of tell her, well, ask her if like her acting like very, I guess, very aggressive in a way. Being very strict and me as being very like higher herself. If that was like, her knowing the contract that he signed in, being with the spider, kind of affected kind of her outlook in life.
Give me another insight check, Lear.
Didn't you already say that before, Rochi, that she just didn't know?
Yeah, more information came
Totally.
out, so I was giving him a
Okay.
chance to address the specific question. As you put a hand on her shoulder and she kind of looks up to you, Lear. You still get the vibe, like this is all new information to her. As you bring up the way that you were, kind of your upbringing and things like that, you see her kind of like straighten up for a minute, kind of gets a little bit more of that, like, her normal stern, like, shoulders back posture. I was just preparing you and your sister for the life, the expectation, the you both have a certain station that you must uphold, and I was just preparing both of you for that. It was that, and you can see, like, she is spinning her wheels. She's overwhelmed by the conversation about just everything, and now is like also trying to justify the way she brought up you and your sister. So it is.
Gotcha.
It's a mess.
Yeah.
There's a mess there.
And as Suji kind of hears Ravi and Valir talking about all this about like saving the sister, I walk up to the father, I look him dead in the eyes, and I'm like, I've already traveled with them. I know what they're thinking. They all want to go into the middle of this and start blowing up everything to save his sister. So you need to swear to me, make an oath to me, one thing, that Valir is indefinitely the firstborn son.
He's
Run that one by me one more time.
he's not.
I want to,
Suji. He's not
that
the first son.
I just kind of walk away then, a little bit.
4 kids.
I kind of got
Valir,
confused by that.
yes. No, I get it. I was
Because he
4
kind of
kids.
said like it was
Because
100 years before the town
yeah.
and all that. Yeah.
He kept looping back and forth with it. It was not well presented by Andy.
Mhm.
I'm assuming Andy, not you, Roger. It's 4 kids: Valir, Viessa, Spider Kid, who Spider Queen thought was firstborn, actual firstborn from Vertrag, who Andy had when he was in the traveling and thinking about the offer period, which is why he was able to meet with the spider, then have the first kid, then have the second kid, then come back, and this whole thing happened.
Okay, that's when
We
I
got that
walked
timeline
away
right,
for
Roji?
a split second, so
Yep.
that makes a little more sense. We had a side conversation. Okay, we can just completely scratch that from ever happening. What was the other question? No, I'm not sure. Okay, just go on for now.
So as you're talking about charging in, I will say, and Suji is right. We do want to charge in because I want to help Leah, but given the information I just heard, I think I'm going to need a rock solid contract with your family before I do so. Put my life at risk because you couldn't fulfill your end of a bargain. I kind of look around. I don't know about the rest of you. I'm more than willing to help Valia, and that portion of my help will come for free. The saving this business, that will come at a price.
Gave me these nice clothes, but
So I'm sitting there with my hands just clasped on the table, taking this all in. So how old is the son Vertrag?
Good question. Well, presumably around 300, right?
Yeah.
Like, not exactly, but close.
Yeah, because my initial thought was like, I'm an orphan, but I'm like, I'm not 300 years old, so
Oh my
no.
God. Valir, fuck you, dude.
I'm
Fuck
not
you,
that
Vintex.
cruel.
No, Vintex just wants to be even more important.
Mhm.
he's the first son.
Yeah, I'll take him out right now.
It's involving them. It's,
It's true. I
But
guess theoretically, though, we don't know his age, or do we know? Do we know Vintex's age? I don't know.
Approximately.
Yeah.
I was raised by humans. I don't fucking know.
But yeah, estimate he has this other son has to be a little over 300 years old. That's all you know.
Yep.
And is from somewhere in Vertrag.
So the father doesn't even know a name? Nothing.
Of the
I guess
kid?
it-
No.
Yeah, all
what
right.
of the
I got
woman
Yeah, who's the wife?
impregnate?
Yes,
Who did you romantic love?
Mistress, wife, whatever the fuck.
No, that is a proper question, Andy. I mean, if we have to negotiate with the Spider Queen, she's going to ask us. Now, what do you want to do? Reveal it? Potentially get your daughter back? Potentially put this unknown son at risk? Give up your empire? I frankly, I know we just met, but it's very hard for me to tell what is the most important to you. You've been using your children as pawns to grow your empire. And I'll just kind of like, I'm just gonna like put a hand on Valir, like, it's just, it's a marvel he turned out as he did.
Well, it's company, like I said, like you know, I wasn't really much in it like Viessa was. My focus is more on her. Get her. This company, whatever. Like I haven't been part of this thing in years.
Yeah, I know that, Valir, but you were. I know it wasn't you, and I know that you were brought back here by your sister and mother. So while it might have been indirect, you've still been sucked into all of this.
Right. Well,
As you kind of keep bouncing this up, you see your father kind of stands up from the table, still kind of grabbing at his side. One moment, I'll give you what I have. You see, he starts to walk out the door towards his office. He's gone for a couple of minutes. Eventually, he returns. He comes into the room. He has a kind of a small folder. He hands it over to does not have the heart in him to hand it to Valir. Revi, you've been the most outspoken. He hands it to you at the moment.
I'm kind of like unsure as like I take these papers, like kind of gesturing towards Valir, like if he just wants to take them from me.
Yeah, I grab it, start looking through it, see what's on there.
You open it up. There's not much here. There's a kind of what appears to be is a signed and handwritten statement of your father. It basically recounts the travels that he took to Vertrag. It recounts time he spent in a very small village. Yeah, no, he would have all of it. Valir, as you kind of lead through it, the letter recounts your father's time in a small village of Morand.
God damn it!
You've got to be shitting me. Roach, don't you fucking do it.
How he met a young human woman
God.
named Fiona. How he spent just over 4 months there. And how when he found out that she was pregnant, that he had left. Returned home.
That'd be
Now we need more.
You said her mother's name was Fiona?
Yep.
Okay.
He returned home. He and kind of lays out the fact that he made this deal and that it referenced that there is a copy of the deal in a another place in his kind of this reads to be a handwritten note that is part of his will, like final will and testimony, and that references other documents that will be presented once he is gone, essentially. But this one
It
specifically,
references stuff from his will, basically.
correct.
Okay.
But this particular document is just a handwritten account of why he has a firstborn child that is not you, Viesa, or whatever other spider child claims to be his firstborn child.
Yeah.
And while you discuss that with the party, I'm going to go to the bathroom.
Andy, give us a moment, will you? What the fuck? Assuming we're far enough away that he can't hear the conversation, because I don't feel like whispering. Valir,
Yeah.
what the fuck? What? What? The...
Listen, I had no idea. Like I told you before, I've never seen this side of him. He's always been very reserved, very business talk, never talking about anything besides business. Like he's having everybody call him Andy, which is like completely out of character. But now it explains it. Why he's acting this weird.
And Valir, just to confirm, do you know why they sent you to the monastery? Should we ask about it? Is it something about this deal? What's fuck the spider?
Well.
Oh god, I'm like weirdly at this point almost the least disturbed by the spider sex, more disturbed by how just arbitrarily he's fucking using his children. Disgusting.
I'm amazed by how many children he has.
I mean, yeah, yes, that too.
Not just multiple children, twins. And not just twins, an older child in Morant.
Was anyone else here aware that? But, sorry, hold on.
I'm not 300 years old, nor am I a halfling. So,
All right,
so
your mom's name for a second.
I don't know.
All right,
Have elves even lived for 300? Does it just carry over in the genes?
did
A
anyone
human?
else? I mean, I would guess that they're pretty strict. DM, there's half elves in this world, right? We know
Sure.
halves and elves and humans can mate.
Of course.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay. And they
Well,
generally
just
live a long
saying, I
ass
don't know
time
if they-
too, right?
From what has been documented, because again, the world is still young and
Still young. Yep.
they have longer than human life. It is yet to be determined if they are long as elf, but is definitely somewhere in the century mark.
Got it. And Roach, the presumption is we moved away. We're far enough away that they can't hear us anymore.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
Also, did anyone here know that just I mean we were all taught some basic aspects of elven biology, right? Did anyone have any fucking idea that elves could even reproduce with spiders? Because I think my whole worldview just got shaken up a bit.
No.
What else can we reproduce with everything? Is it all
Why don't you find out? Fuck the 7.
I don't
know.
want to. I have no
No.
desire
That's
to
what
have
you mean.
sex with other sentient creatures.
I kind of
mean, maybe
awkwardly
humans, but
raise
come
my hand during this and just say, I never tried, of course, because it's fucking disgusting, but
Wait,
I might be able to reproduce with any animal.
Robbie, did you just say what?
Because I like kind of asked Druid for me.
Druid shenanigans aside a second. What did Robbie just say?
Robbie's face in campaign too as he looks at. But what I said was,
misunderstand me.
I have no interest in having sex with
Other sentient beings. So,
like non-elf, like
I was
like
saying
animal.
animals and
I thought you
stuff.
just meant sentient in general. Like,
Robbie does
I-
not.
like-
I did not say the word sentient beings.
I'm just gonna hold the hand out pointing towards 7, so I was right.
Yes, you see, Vince,
Fuck
in
me.
conversation, there's something called context, where I expect people to remember the thing I said just before the thing I was saying. I understand.
Sentient beings means elves, humans, everybody.
I'm smacking Vintet's hand because he pointed at me, and 7's uncomfortable with this here romantic love and ideas.
Oh no.
I'm calling you sentient.
Yes, I am, but
Yes,
he's
and I
not
have no-
touching me,
I have no interest in romantic love.
especially in that way.
I never said romantic. I just said fucking.
But he doesn't understand the
What?
That's just me, Bobby.
What is this? I don't want more things done to me.
Look, you're
What is
confusing
this?
Vintasper.
Okay,
I'm
7.
just gonna go
I am just teasing Robbie.
That's fine, but not at my expense.
No, it's at his expense. You're just
Okay.
you're just a catalyst.
No, you know perfectly.
I'm not a
well,
cow.
we might end up seeing a lot of different experimental Suji children over the next couple of years based on the direction of this conversation.
God, there's gonna have to be a whole zoo.
Okay, look. This has all been very funny. Yes, Leah, sorry, but your father having sex with a spider, hilarious, disgusting, but hilarious. But let's not forget, Vyasa has been taken. I think it's very likely she's not going to be harmed or killed. I mean, I don't know. I'm speculating here, Leah, but she wants what she wants, right? Really wouldn't make any sense for Vyasa to be harmed.
I mean, no, especially if she signed a contract, Spider Queen, to make everything.
So
Our family has protection.
what do you want here, Malia? Obviously, your sister back. And as I told you, I will help you in any way I can. For that, I imagine everyone else here will too. But beyond that, business, the contract, your family. You just heard this fucking mess. I mean, your father was essentially trying to hold a contract up in magical arbitrage because his technical first son wouldn't it be able to be located? I mean, do you see the magical legal nonsense he was trying to pull?
Oh, absolutely, and it sounds about right for him. But what I'm thinking is, what if his firstborn's not even alive? What happens then?
How
DM,
about
that's a good
we?
question.
How about
What
we ask the
happens-
broker?
What happens to a contract like of that nature in our world when it cannot be fulfilled any longer? It is a physical impossibility. Is it simply null and void?
So that would be a contract that would then be disputed on both sides during the day of
I see. So
Okay.
Vergabung, he would have the opportunity, or the dad would have the opportunity to argue there is no firstborn son, contract's null. Spiders would argue clearly the intent was X. So even though the actual firstborn is dead, now it should be the secondborn because they're the new firstborn.
Correct.
Okay, I gotcha. That makes sense.
And I kind of just
Good.
go to
Vergabung,
Robbie. Can't
3 months?
Robbie? Can he just use that sending spell that you keep using to contact his first son?
Yeah. I mean, no, I mean the son? No, he doesn't even know the name. He left while she was
Mm.
pregnant. He's never met his son. He doesn't know them. He could contact this Fiona.
If she's human, she's
If
long
she's-
dead by now.
Yeah.
Oh, well then no. Shit out of luck here, Suji.
Oh, I mean,
So,
if you
so we can't even find this guy. Essentially, it sounds impossible.
Look, we know it's a DM. I know this is getting into the weeds now. How common are half elves in this world? Like,
just now.
no.
Just now.
Yeah, better question, DM. Would I be familiar with any elves or half
like
elves
how
in Moran other than me?
How uncommon is it? I mean, I know in this world there's not a lot of intermixing in that way necessarily. It's separate countries and all that, but I mean, obviously there's some. So like, is that for every 10 elves, is there one half elf? Are there 2 half elves, or is it for every 100 elves there's one half elf?
There are definitely a smaller amount of half elves that have hit maturity at the current time. There are definitely more half elven children now. You know what I mean? Like any half elven
You're
adult
saying it
is
used to be even more rare. It is
correct,
becoming.
but it is becoming more common because as time has gone on and more of the the borders are down, and especially in like a place like Nelfine where it's basically a melting pot.
People. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's was very uncommon early on just because again there was a lot of like, oh no, we're up here, you're down there, and for Trag we're not gonna mix a lot, but it has definitely become less in probably the last 200 300 years or so. So you're probably seeing less adults, more children right now.
mm,
All right, my question. Being from Morand,
Mhm.
am I aware of any other half elves that live there?
Not that you were aware of.
Mm.
Good to know. Good to know.
So
I would say Vinteth, to clarify a little bit for you, Vinteth. There were no half elves that lived in Morand.
Hmm.
Population was over 90% like human. You had met obviously there were travelers that you dealt with a lot, different races and things like that. Um, so you had met half elves. Half elves have come through Moran, but none resided there when you were there.
Gotcha.
is no one's anyone going to say it? Right. Okay then. So well, if Vintef didn't know any in this reasonably small town, at least we know this person is probably, well, maybe not probably alive, but at least did not die in whatever the fuck happened there. But now I'm going to go to the next part of this, which I know no one's going to like. Our only lead might be to figure out where this child might be, who may have known a half elf, who may have left town at some point, probably prior to Vinteth's birth, which means we would need to speak to residents, Morand.
Yes, that chipper old place.
Unless anyone has another hint, if in fact this process, going through all this, helping Valea, doing what the hell ever with this company, means we need to find this person, that's the only lead I can think of that it could even remotely be feasible.
What about Ned?
Why would Ned know?
He wasn't exactly human. He had all those stories of things that should normally take lifetimes.
I mean, that never hurts to ask, right?
You can still talk to him in your head, right?
I can send him a message, but I have one left. I gesture towards the flaming mass of the the burn.
Oh yeah.
room. I've used a bit of magic today, so let's.
I can do it.
I can also save you at least one part if you all think back on it. You do know Twice Lucky Ned is half elf.
Yeah.
No fucking.
Yeah.
Wait, did he say he's from Morand originally?
That
We
is
don't
a-
know. No one
No.
has ever asked him where he was from. No, because I remember we had that whole conversation with him that one time. You're right, but nobody ever asked him where he's from. We were asking him like, why is he called that? And he was talking about like, and then we found out later it was like the whole he's almost like separated from fate. Like he's somehow like he's like removed from
Yeah.
like Bellamy's line, so to speak.
He is considered fateless.
Fateless, that's what it
Fateless,
was.
that's
Oh
the
yeah,
word.
yeah, because
Without checking my notes, I wanted to figure that out. Okay. All right. So our leads are potentially Twice Lucky Ned
this bum.
or
How
Morand.
mad you gonna be if that's your brother there,
I know.
Everybody had to think at the second they heard he's the half elf. Like,
Yeah.
oh,
After
no.
all that
That's where I
crap
went
I was
to.
talking about,
Roach, you know what you've done, right? You just did what Marvel did with fucking WandaVision. Mephisto? Wait, are they Mephisto? Am I Mephisto? Yeah, now every half elf.
Also,
Come on, Fiona.
Are you Valier's brother?
before we go into the whole half elf searching thing, I'm just like, okay, I don't know any of the magic or how to find this guy at this point, but what if there was just a simpler solution?
What's that?
This spider doesn't know this other son exists, right? From our knowledge, that was the whole thing. That like it's
What-
like her son, the spider kid.
If she didn't find that out, though, why the hell wouldn't she have just waited till the contract resolved instead of kidnapping his daughter? She has to know she was deceived.
I don't know all about that. I don't know what's going on, but all I'm thinking is, why don't we just kill this spider son? Shit, we don't even have to deal with it anymore. Maybe Valir just becomes king.
We wouldn't.
Take over.
Suji's got. He's a little off, but I mean, he's got the gist. But he's not king, but control the company. But you're forgetting, Suji, that would
This
fulfill.
town seems like it's completely run by them. They like control all the spiders now that we know about this.
She handed
He's
him.
king.
She handed him everything. Who's to say? It sounds like his father had nothing before. No offense for that. But it sounds like she literally gave him everything that made him successful. Again, no offense for that. And it sounds like he
It
basically
kinda
would have
seems- It
continued
might
onward
seem a
as
little
nothing.
fucked up, but I fully agree with him taking the deal.
Yes, but if you're going to take it, feel it. All I mean to say is I don't see why there's any benefit to the Spider Queen doing this unless she knew she was being deceived. But I'm open to thoughts.
What were the words of the contract one more time? What does she get? What does she want?
That in exchange for 300 years of rule, the firstborn son of sorry, I just keep thinking Andy now of Andy
Andy!
Warsenok will be the new CEO, for lack of, I don't know what term they use here, so I'm just calling it CEO.
Yeah.
Will be the new CEO owner of the Warsanok Empire, and therefore and protector of the town. All the commensurate bullshit. You know your titles that.
So the leader of an empire is the emperor.
Is this an empire? I mean, yes.
I know.
You know,
So
no, fair.
she gets the firstborn son. What does she want with the firstborn son? Is she gonna eat him?
No, she wants. I'm. If you put yourself in her position, you engage in this contract. You've waited patiently 299 years for your son to take over his what you believe to be his birthright. You find out the elf you've made this contract with, in fact, had a secret son and has been actively working to deceive you, cheating you and your offspring out of the empire.
How would she find that out?
I don't know.
And if the contract time isn't even up, was there even a discussion between the son taking over? Like, I'm gonna stand up and I'm gonna look over to Valir's father. I'm like, when was the last time you talked to the Spider Queen?
Directly?
Yeah.
Over 300 years ago when we made the contract?
And the terms were firstborn son takes over this, right? In 300 years?
Yes.
Have you done anything to piss her off?
Other than potentially having a child that she didn't know about that's actually my firstborn child? No?
And then, actively working to undermine the contract so it would end up in legal limbo until the
Yeah. But like,
outside of that, I mean, what?
yeah, but if they haven't had if they haven't had the discussion about succession, what is she angry about? There has to be something else. He's lying.
Oh, really? So if I made a contract with you, but it was for an arbitrarily long period of time in the future, and we just never talked, you just wouldn't try to fulfill that. You just, we haven't talked about it. So
Yeah, but they haven't even had the discussion about fulfilling it. They haven't had the discussion about succession. They haven't had the discussion about her son, the supposed firstborn, coming in and taking over. There's been none of that. It's just her busting in here, going, the contract needs to be fulfilled, and sticking spiders on us. There has to be something more.
Which
Right?
is why I believe she found out she was deceived. But you're right, it could have been something else. I'm just throwing out what seems to be logical in front of our faces. If we get a better explanation, we move forward with it. Either way, we need to decide what we're doing to get Viessa. We need to understand the motivations only insofar as we're taking a diplomatic approach.
I'm gonna go stand next to the father, stand behind him, put my hands on his shoulders. I'm gonna cast Zone of Truth and be like, I want all the details.
I did not. Oh, I forgot you had that.
Yeah. From the beginning.
I was born a warm summer day. And
450 years ago. No. Yeah, he recounts to you, Vinteth, you can tell he fails the spell.
Okay, good.
So, he is telling the truth. He tells you the entire story, again, about, his, a group of his people leaving Farland, traveling north to settle this place. The hardship they face with fighting other creatures, as outside of the spiders, the other creatures that inhabited Silicon Valley, chimeras and other, dangerous creatures. That eventually he decided, after, just living here ruggedly with his people and people dying and fighting off, spiders and chimeras and all that stuff, he eventually took a chance. He went down into the caverns, because he said, fuck it, if I die, I die. I'm going to probably die anyway living here. Met with the Spider Queen, basically offered her creatures protection from them, but also if they work together to protect each other from everything else here, it would be beneficial to both of them. Was essentially the idea of the contract and the stipulations of it will be mutually beneficial for both of your people and my people to work together to build this civilization up. And in doing so, I would like something that would like set me and my family up, and that's when the entire idea of like using the spider silk and getting that kind of, you know, directly to them. But she wanted reassurances that, you know, we would do a test run in a certain time period, and when that was over, I get you, and I guarantee that your family will have prosperity and continue to be kind of in control. But her caveat was that she also wanted her. Vincent, this is kind of the part where you start to like break down like the parts of the contract where it's like clause firstborn child will own and take over the company once he leaves. Separate clause, but not conditional to the first clause. You must have a child with me.
Gotcha.
Yep. Got it. Yeah, so he's fulfilled. Yeah, he's fulfilled parts of this.
Yeah. As he continues to tell the story, though, with the Zone of Truth,
I fucking knew there's something more.
you do get one piece. He slips up on one part. Not slips up, but he's compelled to tell the truth. And yeah, I made it to Morand, and I stayed there for a few months, and I had relations with this young lady, and when I found out she was pregnant, I was overjoyed, and I left.
So what you're saying is your entire
Yeah, yeah, he basically let it slip. We just know now he's a little bit shittier of a person because that was the intent. He was actively seeking to fuck this contract before he took it. Yes, let's go, baby.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
He's still a business person.
Oh he
yeah.
that real scumbag. Yeah.
The intentions were clear. All right. Now that we know that, from the 300 years onward till now, you've had no interaction with the Spider Queen other than birthing a child? No business meetings, no working on the Empire, no discussing how the silk comes and goes?
It is your people and her people here, right? Your
Yeah. She does not leave the cave, and I have not seen reason to return. We have communication. He kind of gestures towards some of the dead spiders that are on the ground. She has very many messengers that she can send. Uh, there's never been a reason for us to have face-to-face communication because everything was going fine.
When's the last time you spoke of this first child? Until today. Before today, when's the last time you spoke of it?
With her, never. It was
With anybody?
I have not made mention of it anywhere except for that piece of paper I've handed. And he kind of gestures to the envelope that has the written detailing of his first child's birth. Or at least
Has anybody seen these papers before us in this room today?
No. It was sealed. It was wax sealed. It was ready to be put into my vault with the rest of my last will and testament documents.
Is there zero possibility a spider could have, a small one, crawled into the room, perused the papers, and then informed the mother?
My office is particularly warded against spiders.
Good. Then
So
I'm
maybe
at a
you're right.
loss.
Maybe you're right, Vinteth. Maybe she didn't find out, and there's some other reason for this random brazen kidnapping. That still leaves us with the need to figure out our next step. Andy, I'm going to ask you something I think we all really want to know. Why did you actually send Valia to that monastery?
Oh, here we go.
I couldn't help myself. I'm so sorry.
I mean, now's the time to get your questions in, guys. You can't lie.
Well, I think I mentioned that in the group thing, or I was at least thinking it multiple times.
Wait,
Yeah.
did you? Oh, yeah.
I don't know if I actually said it out loud. But yeah, go on.
You see, he kind of looks over at Valir. He looks, back kind of at the situation. Valir, as you've said, and we all kind of knew, your sister was far more equipped and positioned to take over and run this company. It's never been your thing. This was never what you wanted. You enjoy the clothes, you enjoy the fashion, and you have an eye for it, but your sister has a passion for it. I have made mistakes. I've made business deals with people that I would not want your sister to be in business with when I was gone. And she needed to be protected, and you needed to straighten your ass out. And partially, you've already started to do that. I can't speak to the straighten your ass out part, but I can speak to eliminating some of the need of some of the unscrupulous types I've found myself in business with from what I've heard was your escort back here.
Oh, so he knew. He knew the whole time. Then, right? Did I misinterpret?
He knew who escorted you back, is all he's saying.
Oh, okay.
Whether he knew that while that was happening or just found out when you
Afterwards.
got here,
Yeah.
hard to tell. Like I said, I've made my bed, and I am more than willing to lie in it. But I wanted to be sure that you and your sister had a fresh start when things were ready to move in that direction. And no matter how it happened, I'm glad to see that you have found your own way. Have matured to a point where at least you can see fault in who you were, see fault in who I am, and hopefully be better.
Well, now you guys know why I got sent there.
That's all you have to say? I I guess what did you already
mean,
know that? Huh? I mean,
Pardon me, Neil. I mean, did you not see my sister's reaction when I said I mentioned I had friends? She threw a whole party. I wasn't really much.
she did. That was kind of
Yes.
what I need a word for. I need a word. Oh yes, that was kind of subtle, subtly insulting, but I really didn't want to say anything.
Backhanded compliment, yeah.
Yes. I mean, you guys know me and how I see myself. Back then, I was way worse. I was better than everybody. I didn't think I needed any help with anything. That's why I got sent over there, and that's why I got kicked out of the monastery. Still, just fool myself, pretty much. And, you know, like I mentioned before, I'm pretty sure I mentioned before, just been wandering, trying to find my own path.
Well, Valia, I think you've done a good job getting yourself down to a valuable level of ego.
Yes, but it's kind of hard, you know. We're elves after all. We're pretty amazing.
Yes, collectively we are. But okay,
Um,
what would you? I'm just curious. I'm not saying we're gonna follow this advice. I just looked at him. What would you recommend we do to get your daughter back?
Well, I would. I would surmise that you could seek audience with her, and again, it is hard to say what she wants without what she knows. Clearly, she knows something, because this would
Yes.
not. We would not be having this conversation if she did not know something. This is a level of theatrics I was not anticipating.
Uh,
Um,
I must ask the obvious question, Andy. What happens if we get there and she's not open to discussion? Is there any world in which this town survives the death of the Spider Queen? And frankly speaking, I have no idea if we can kill her. I have no clue how powerful she is. I mean, we just killed a few spiders, but I imagine there are many, many more. But hypothetically,
I cannot. I cannot advise the killing of the Spider Queen in her own chambers, surrounded by what you have seen in the city is a fraction of their populace. Um, so
fucking spiders.
the sheer number of spiders she has beneath the mountains and in the hills and in the caves below is already almost an impossible feat for many. She is ancient. She has been here long before I and long before most of our people. I
Well,
cannot begin to fathom the power she commands.
diplomacy. Did I hear diplomacy then?
Was she here when the twins came before? Before the twins came?
Yeah, she was here long before Valia and Viessa.
No, the twins, as in
Oh my god, the ego.
the twins. The twins.
On this man. That was well done. That was well done.
That was good.
I like that.
Well, now you
It was
know
a
where I get it
goddamn
from.
layup.
Who could he possibly be talking about except my wonderful children, of course?
No, I slammed my hand down on the table and everything like the twins, not your
Oh.
children.
I mean, it's. I have never. You don't ask a lady her age, but it's certainly possible.
Yeah, I'm thinking diplomacy. I'd like to talk to this Spider Queen. Does she have an actual name?
Good. How about that then, Dad? You're going to get to do some do some wonderful adventuring with us. Diplomatic mission? I think she would love to see her boy's father after all these years, don't you?
What's her name? She has to have a name.
I certainly hope he didn't call her Spider Queen.
Right, Mommy.
Oh, God, Spider, ew, gross.
Watch her name be Silken because we're in Silicon Valley.
I was instructed to call her Your Highness while I was there. It was not my position to know a formal title for her.
Even during the sex.
Not
Okay,
your
I don't need to know. I don't answer that. Don't answer that. I don't.
No, you should answer that. What about the sex? You see, his mom's off the rails. Just full bottle.
I
Just
totally forgot. She's been said that.
Dude,
I'm
why does
asking
he even
this
have
dude.
lady parts?
I had him tell the whole story, and she's just sitting there quietly, like drinking. Like, what the fuck?
I mean, let's be honest. If we were actually there, it would have probably been loudly drinking.
Yes.
Yeah.
Slamming some glasses, loudly chugging some of these these cups.
yeah.
Goody.
You don't need to answer that. I do have a question.
No, I need to know her name.
Oh yeah, her name.
Your Highness.
He does
before
not
that.
know a official title. He is.
Okay.
Does
Spider
Andy
Queen,
respond to
your
his
Highness.
What did she
out
sign the
first?
contract? What's her name on the contract?
Oh, that's actually no, you're right. He has to know her name, right?
Do you look at the contract?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Fuck
speak
yeah.
arachnid?
God,
Fuck!
fuck you. Oh my god.
Oh. All right. Do I got a
No,
spell
no,
for this?
no,
All right.
fuck.
Hold on.
Hold on. No, one of us is about to. I actually don't remember if this is on my spell list, but we're gonna find out.
While you look at that, I do
Let's
have.
go. Give me
Oh, yes,
10 goddamn minutes. I'm just going to sit there, just frustratingly casting comprehend language. Fucking arachnid
Nice.
language. Fucking.
I want to ask my father about the older elf female that came in. What was her deal, and how does she? She's the one who brought up the mother into the contract. What does she have to do with all this?
That was Thorasa. She is, how to say it. She is what is called the speaker of the mother. She is kind of there's a once the contract was officially signed and once things start to come together here in this village and we started to, you know, create infrastructure and cities and the town itself and build buildings and things like that. There was a small group of us, of our people, that um believed that there was a give and take to the entire situation, that while the spiders were coming up to live with us and help us start our population and start our community here, they thought that it was only right and they felt more comfortable moving into the caverns themselves and living amongst the spiders. And so she has a small sect of, you know, elven people that live amongst them in the caves. And Tharasa is what she is, her speaker, is the one that usually comes here, comes to, you know, meetings and uh, different events to kind of speak the mother's will and proclaim certain, you know, decrees, I suppose, if when it's necessary. Um,
Because there were a bunch of elves that wanted to fuck spiders.
this is too much for me, man.
Okay.
Behind every rich person's town. What did I say, Tinkers? You never know the depravity that lies.
So, why did she say that she was happy to see your tribute?
honestly don't know. I assume she was referring to me returning once the contract is ended. It doesn't, like I said, it doesn't make sense. I thought she was just, you returned, and then it was odd that she doesn't just come here and saying things like that. This is the first I wasn't expecting that to happen. I wasn't expecting them to be here and refer to me leaving. And I don't know if they just want to say it in front of you all because they thought I didn't at first. It doesn't make sense at all. Like, why prod it? Why bring it up when we're back together for the first time in so long?
I'm very much looking forward to her answer when you ask her.
I mean, I can accompany you. Um, so there are three potential issues at the moment. One is I am pretty badly injured, but I can suck through that. That's not a problem. It's not the first time I've been wounded.
Sucked by a spider.
I don't want to. You all seem very capable. Though the spiders may not be a direct threat, there are other dangers that lurk in the caves that you may have to deal with. I have no problem accompanying you, but I do not also want to be a hindrance. I do not want to be protected, for if I die before we get there, then that also poses issues. I suppose it just speeds up the clock on something that was already going to happen, but just something I had to make you all aware of. Third, as you quite plainly see, the contract may or may not directly cover my own personal well-being.
Right.
Why wouldn't they have killed you a long time ago?
They had no reason to. I surmise. I've been holding everything that I have portrayed for the last almost 300 years is that I have been fulfilling the contract as it was written. So why did they have any reason to kill me?
Fair enough.
Okay, so Andy, if you'll, I don't know how this is going to get. I imagine Valia's going to Valia's going to have a talk with you about what you both want to do with that, as to you coming or not. But regardless, um, how many men do you have? While we will go with diplomatic intentions, we have to be prepared for a fight, and as you said, there are other dangers. So if we're going on some rescue mission into caves you haven't perhaps been in 300 years, so the total unknown, I would just like us to be as prepared as possible.
Do you have any magical artifact?
No, he has incompetent men. That's what he has. But at least they can do something. They
can
slowed
pause
you
it.
down a bit, didn't they, Suji? That's something.
I'm saying with all this money, why wouldn't you have some magical artifacts lying around for protection?
I was, I would think the same, but
I'm gonna walk into the corner. I'm gonna try and like meditate for like 30 seconds and just try to summon up Armand, fucking gore douchebag, and be like, "If do you know the Spider Queen?" I'm just gonna let them talk. I'm gonna walk over in the corner and do my own thing.
yeah. And Valia, just talk to this man. Talk to your father and figure out who's coming and what the deal is. We need to go get her. Especially if none of us knows what this meant. The elves' comment about the tribute. That is worrying.
Yes. I kind of put my hand on Seven, kind of like just kind of break the touch and just joke to him like, maybe that dropping that battery wouldn't have been such a bad idea now.
Yeah. Where's the airship?
Oh, this is in caves. We couldn't bomb the spiders. There's no way, right?
We could
It's an underground
we could
caves?
we could do what they did and put a fucking timer on it. We still have one of them.
Oh my God, are we really gonna be this? I think it's too early for this.
I might
man.
already be a war criminal. We don't know yet.
Thermonuclear bombing the cave system.
We could be heroes.
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 Oh,
But when it came to the bullywogs, you guys were totally okay with just committing genocide. That's all I'm saying.
This is
The
a little
goblins.
different.
We
was
should.
Hundreds of bullywogs.
There's owls in there.
This could be, by the sound of it, I don't know, tens of thousands of spiders in an ancient spider queen, possibly older than the beings we refer to as gods.
Yeah.
It's a little different, man, is all I'm saying.
look, all I'm saying is, where's the airship?
No, do not let him go into that. No, we just hinted that it might be okay to fuck with those batteries. Do not let him go to the airship.
I need a cart
Okay.
and a pulley system. I know you can make them, Robbie.
With it, of course, time and resources. Yes, of course I could. Um, uh, right. No, that is. Are you, Andy? Are you familiar with the destructive capabilities of your airship's batteries? We were recently informed, and if you, Suji does make a fair point. Someone as wealthy as you are, if you don't have any powerful items that might be usable in the situation, a nice trump card could be an unknown, potentially high energy explosive of some kind. Not ideal by any means, and I think everyone here would say they would do whatever they can to avoid it. But the threat can be important. As a businessman, I'm sure you would agree.
Can you tell the shopkeepers to give me the spider boots so I can walk on walls?
Oh God, Seven. We're trying to figure out a plan to save the man's sister here.
Yeah.
God.
So am I.
Well,
I
yeah,
mean, Seven
It would
kind
help
of
you fight
raises a
spiders.
good point. Like, obviously, I want to be nice and try to help, but what's in it for us? This sounds like a death mission, honestly.
we are being sent to seriously an ancient entity. What the fuck? How many other creatures older than our gods exist on this plane?
Plenty, I'm sure, but I have questions for it.
Yeah,
We could get attacked as soon as we walk out this castle. The whole town is surrounded by spiders.
it is possible, and I agree with Leia. I don't mean to be heartless, but we need to work out an agreement with your father before we step here.
Absolutely. I mean, the only person I would think would know something about any ancient beings would be the broker. But aside from that, I got nothing.
How about this? How about you have discussion with your father first, you know, and figure some things out. You know, whether he's coming, is he sending any men, and maybe the early terms of what might be a fair arrangement, and the rest of us can talk
Absolutely.
amongst ourselves.
Before we get into that, I know you guys had other questions besides what's going on with my family and stuff. We don't know what's gonna happen once we leave here and start tracking down my sister. Uh, I don't know if there's any important questions you want to ask him that we experience before we put any plans into motion.
I fuck. You might be right. Maybe we should go quickly. Do want to help her.
No.
What do you know, Andy? Do you know anything about the Death's Embrace? At this point, I don't think there's any point to lying, so I'm just going to tell him. We were recently came into conflict with them. A little bit worrisome. You know?
Recently.
So just would like to, you know, have you ever heard of them? Any insights? So obviously we'll. Yeah. But yeah, no, I think it's reasonable. I get it. Like we do want to go save his sister, but I think he does make a good point. Like fuck, like we should
Yeah.
get a
like-
few of these things. Like just all right, let's just clear. He is under a zone of truth. There's literally never going to be a better time than this. We should just do it now, and then
Yeah.
we can like seriously. If they're gonna kill her, it doesn't matter if we go right now. And if they're not gonna kill her, 5 more minutes is not a big deal. it's I don't know.
That was, that was my logic. It's like he could have that scorpion thing could have easily killed her for sure. And it just seems like he just wanted to kidnap her. So might as well just get the questions out the way.
Yeah. I asked if he had ever heard of the Death's Embrace and if he has any info about them.
I've heard.
Oh, sorry.
No worries. Death's Embrace. You know, a couple of Soren Lin fanatics came through here maybe a couple hundred, 150, 200 years ago. Didn't really take off around here, so they kept on their way.
My only other thing, and then I'll pass it on to the rest of the group. So, in lieu of asking him directly about this nature of magic, I'm just gonna say, just do you have any resources, people you may know of, under your employ, whomever, who have worked with a nature of magic that may not be taught, even potentially banned within the Elven academies?
Nobody, nothing. We've never really done direct contact with any mages other than, getting some minor enchantments done around the estate, honestly. So I'm sorry about that. Nobody that we've worked with directly, at least that's in town. As far as resources, of course, we have many things at your disposal. Money is not an option. Not a, money is not an option. Was not what I meant to say. Money is no object, is what I meant to say.
We knew what you meant, buddy. It's just really funny the way it came out. Like he's like literally, you can take anything except my money.
Money, we have none.
We're actually broke.
That's
the way,
the
honey. That's my other deep dark secret.
This thing costs so much fucking money to simply there. They were still charging us.
Oh my god.
Why did you think I was so pissed off when I found out he wasn't there anymore? They've been charging me for the last year and a half.
Oh.
Yes.
Yes,
Money
well,
is no object.
I am glad to hear that. I
Um,
know not everyone here is as inclined as I am, but spellcraft is expensive.
we will make sure that you are fitted with what you needed, with what you need to travel into the caves. I can call in some favors. I can get you some. Look, I can get you some gods, some people, some extra bodies that can help with the incursion into the caves. The only thing I warn you is that anybody I get you, money will not make them turn on the spiders. I can get you people that will help you against any other type of, you know, encounters or cave dwelling creatures or things like that. But if a
Got it.
battle ensues with the spiders of any kind, they will not get involved. It's just
I understood diplomacy or death with the spiders, but at least yes. It I guess the upside of people loyal to the spiders, I assume you're talking about those who may already dwell within the area and have some familiarity with it, the creatures within.
I can. Yes, I can definitely get you
If
some
they're
people.
not if they're not going to be loyal to us, we might as well get the most knowledgeable ones.
Again, it's not that they won't be loyal. It's just that they won't. Even normal townsfolk around here won't turn against the spiders without for most gold. I could pay
Oh,
them
I see.
hundreds of thousands of gold, and they won't fight a spider for. It's for the spiders that their safety and the town is secured, so therefore they won't fight them. Um,
No, that
so
that makes sense. I apologize. I misunderstood.
All right, enough about the spiders. Damn, is he still under his own truth, or is it over by now?
it's
It
10
lasts for
minutes?
Like 10 minutes.
I would say you're probably pushing towards the end of it.
All right, I have 2 questions before this thing wears off.
All right.
2 names, Andy. I want to know if you're familiar with the first, Orin Singal.
Doesn't ring a bell.
The second, Armand Gore.
Can't say I'm familiar.
Anybody else I'm forgetting? Any other weird names we've come
You wanna
across?
tell them about the fucking grandfather and the death of us all that comes from the astral
No,
plane?
that's just complicating shit because this
Oh,
spider,
okay.
there's
Yeah, I figured
like
you didn't wanna
like real talk. All this bullshit with Valier's family is a far cry away from like being important to me. Like it's
I
important,
get what
but yeah, I'm like
It's
I
just
mean,
so
the name
small.
that I'm always mess up.
it's
Jezero.
small in the scheme of things. It's all going on in my head that I'm just like.
Yeah.
I'm here to help
Forest.
because we have bigger
Yeah.
problems to worry about, so let's get this the fuck out of the way.
Yeah.
If you're inclined, you can mention Sepharis.
I mean, I think that's more on
Yeah.
you if you want it mentioned.
Yeah, I'll pose that question to this jury. Any other names you want to drop?
What about a Sepharis Jezerlog?
I thought it was Severus Featherfoot.
Jesus, do not say any other day. I'll confuse even more.
Sepharis.
Tiefling?
Kind of uh, purplish red skin, horns, kind of pulled back.
See
Fine.
Suji's like face drop a little bit. Yes.
Yeah, he kind of he tries to look at his wife, who is just so far gone at this moment. It's like,
Just
right,
staring
yes,
a hole in the wall.
yeah. Yeah, I didn't have much interaction with the man, but he used to come to some of our parties in the past. I know he's of some renown, I suppose. Hmm, who was he
Do you
here
know
with?
where he comes from? Perhaps home location, address.
You know,
Social.
Yeah. Net worth.
I don't. Again, I've only met him in passing at some of our parties before, but he acted and presented himself as he was somebody of importance and of some sort of higher class, noble upbringing, and I always assumed that he was a guest of somebody. He was not like our parties usually the +1 ratio gets a little bit out of hand sometimes. I don't remember who he was here with. Huh. The name does sound familiar. I've met him before, yes.
Perhaps member, either a elven gentleman or woman by the last name of Borosilicate.
I've never met them. I'm familiar with the name. It's I've never met them personally, but yes, I'm familiar with the family. I've heard of them. They're from out west, I believe, West Coast.
Yes. Okay. It was the only lead I might have had, but fair enough. So how should we proceed forward?
Let's get our armor and our weapons.
Excuse me. So, do you want to discuss with your? Does anyone have anything else to ask him?
Without blowing his mind with everything we learned, I don't think so.
Okay.
Not that I can think
Um,
of. I don't know about anybody else.
I have nothing else to say.
I only
So-
have the main question, but I'm not going to ask it.
How about then you talk to your father about some of those logistics, and the rest of us can chat.
Yeah. Sounds good.
You can do with Valir first if you want, but I just want for the group to think about this question because I'm gonna open once we get a far enough distance away that it's just everybody, Valir's chatting with his dad. Okay, I'm caught between a rock and a hard place here because friend whose sister is kidnapped, oh, that's offer your help for free. Mega rich guy whose daughter is kidnapped, that's milk it for all it's fucking worth. So I don't really know what to do here.
We have bigger problems. We have much bigger problems, and money will help.
You're right.
I don't give a shit if Valir's there or not. He kicked them out to a monastery. He's paying us.
We did. Okay, let's. Sorry, what did you say those gold bars were worth?
Like
1,000?
total?
No,
Yeah.
per bar. 1,000?
Per bar, 1,000 each. Yeah.
And they were 5 by 4,
Yes.
20, and then 5 layers down. Well, you don't know how many layers down.
Yeah.
20,000 per layer gold. Yep. Minimum based on height, 5 layers, but probably more. So over 100,000 gold per crate. These are just like casual shipments we're talking about here. All right. Sorry, I just had to get some context in my mind before I presented the group. I don't know. Still, though, Leah, you're right. I'm sorry, Vinteth. Damn it, I always do this. Vinteth, you're right. But I don't know exactly still what's a ridiculous... I have no context for this amount of money. The amount of money these people are working with. The broker made me rich beyond my wildest dreams, but of course, then in just, a couple of months, I've blown it all on equally expensive spells.
Well, we need more resources and information than just the broker can provide. So let's try and set this up as potentially we solve this problem and move on with our lives. But he can use his spider network and or entire fucking city connections, business connections, whatever, to help us. Because we are in way over our heads.
Well, if we want to become a little bit more in over our heads, we could press our luck and ask this Spider Queen. Excuse me. Ask this Spider Queen about the nature of things. Speaking of Spider Queen, backtracking a bit. Comprehend languages and looking at this document. What is her name? Or, what do I read? I know I might not get a clear answer. This could be like there's an arachnid. I know it could be like an arachnid way of saying it. Doesn't directly translate, so it's not going to work properly. Or maybe it's a name we can't pronounce.
Since you had a mate with it, I'm going to assume it's Leggy Peggy.
Nice.
Been sitting on that for so long.
That's a good spider pun and a dirty pun. I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were frozen for a second. Sorry.
Oh, just typing.
Oh, you're posting it in chat. Got it.
Yep. You may read that how you will, because you don't get pronunciation.
Corpina.
What is she?
I want to pronounce it with more of an accent than like a totally different accent than Ravi's accent.
I'm expecting her to have like the craziest Spanish accent.
Corpia de Arancia. Like, yeah, it's just I want to
I'm picturing Armand from fucking Interview with the Vampire, dude.
No, seriously though, what are you gonna do? The name is clearly not Corpilla. Come on, it's not pronounced Corpilla. Like it's so. How else are you gonna pronounce it? Anyway.
Corpia de Arancia.
So yeah, I would say with the most common translation the most ready translation into common would be Corpia de Arancia. As best I can say. Yes, so we could ask this apparently phenomenally powerful and old creature some of the burning questions that many of us have. But very risky and scary, I'll admit. I have no idea how the hell I'm going to react.
I mean,
in the presence of something like that. So.
I am more than willing to open the dialogue. I just want to meet the Spider Queen. Fuck Valera's sister.
But,
we can wash our hands of this entire situation if we get the answers we're seeking. And then that whole side thing is like, by the way, Fiesa, what's going on with that, Corpia?
If it's our lives or Valea's sister, of course I'm going to choose our lives. But we make the effort to save her.
Yeah, but that's secondary. Information's what I'm here for.
I think if we do this, the first thing we do has to be to secure her safety. Once that's done, we can move forward with the rest.
I mean, you could do that.
If you go down there and just start demanding answers to
I'm
your
not going to
personal
demand anything.
questions, you can
I'm.
get us all killed.
Who knows how lonely this Spider Queen has been using this speaker woman to talk for her for 300 years. I'm going to go directly to the Spider Queen and talk to her.
And I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm saying if we take this contract, the primary focus has to be to save her. You were talking about we need resources, we're in over our heads. Well, good. Go and demand the world. But then fulfill your fucking word, because not doing that is what's caused all of this bullshit. I'm done with the dishonesty.
What dishonesty? How is any of this my fault?
No, I just mean, if we're going to take this contract, we go there. And if we can save her, then we can choose to take the risk ourselves, to ask for more, to inquire about this blurred out period of elven knowledge. You don't think there's a reason this woman doesn't remember? Sorry, I don't remember her name. It's from the church. That she doesn't remember. You know, her mother didn't remember these early periods of history. There's a reason they're covering this up from us.
Yeah, you think?
And you don't think it's incredibly scary and dangerous to even politely ask of that knowledge
No.
from this ancient creature?
No, not at all.
Then do so after we've gotten Leah's sister.
But what if that pisses her off when we don't get the knowledge?
Well, then that's a risk. That's a risk I'm willing to take. Because if we tell him that this is what we sign this agreement, that's what we're going there to do, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to work.
Information, on one hand, that helps us get one more piece of this giant buttfuck mystery puzzle that is the world we live in. Valir's sister. I'm not saying we're not going to try and do the job. Diplomacy. We're here for diplomacy, right? We're here to talk. We're not going there to fight. We're not going there to upset the Spider Queen. Yes, okay, I guess, sure, we can lead with trying to figure this out, but as far as I'm concerned, we're not official representatives of the family. Valir can represent his family. I'm there to help Valir and then pursue knowledge.
Well, then let me pose you a hypothetical. What if that knowledge comes at the cost of all of this? Do we actively betray Valia? Are you willing to do that? Just again, it's not unreasonable to think that the answers you seek would be given to you at that price.
I look Ravi dead in the eyes, straight up, cross my hands over my chest, and say, I serve the mother. That's all the information you should need to have.
I respect the honesty, at least, Valia. But it's still tough for me. Outside of my father, there weren't a lot of people I could trust, and at least over the time that I felt I really could, and at least to some extent, I'm feeling like we are growing closer within this. We are enveloped in some fucked up mystery. You're right, but I don't know. I don't wish to cause pain to the others around me just to get those answers, unless absolutely necessary.
And also, what's the plan of retrieving his sister? Why would the Spider Queen go through all this and just back?
We need to find out what she wants, which is why, Vinteth, as I was saying, we should be talking about this first, because it shows that we are there. to figure out what she wants. We don't really know. We know she wants a son on the throne, so to speak, but
If she wanted us dead, or any of us in that room dead, we'd be dead. She has tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of fighters. She can just overwhelm the place. It's a message. Like Andy said himself, it's theatrics. So I am not 100% convinced that she's going to harm VS any more than she already has. I think this is going to be easy to smooth over, depending on what bullshit Andy pulls with his contract. But as far as we're concerned, we don't know who the first son is. It's him fucking her with the contract. We can't do anything about that. We're going to go back to Vertrag and try and find this fucking 300-year-old half-elf who could possibly be Ned. No, that's got nothing to do with us. That's all him.
We could always leverage that knowledge as a bargaining chip. Maybe allow the Spider Queen herself, this
Yes, we could. For knowledge about stuff that happened before the twins were here and after they came. That's a more important bargaining chip with everything else in this world. We have knowledge the Spider Queen probably doesn't have of the grandfather coming and followers of Tor summoning whatever the fuck they're trying to summon. We have bigger problems than the Spider Queen. The Spider Queen might be grateful to us for informing her, oh, hey, the world's trying to end. You might want to fucking help us, you know? Or maybe she just doesn't care. She's that ancient.
Maybe not, but either way, even if she is just completely self-interested, what we'd be doing could be hunting an empire. If this firstborn were to be dead, at least then the contract would be, contestable. She may have a chance to get her. God, I know we haven't talked about it, but elf spiders. I fuck is that? Seriously though, I am.
Maybe she knows. Maybe she knows something we don't, and she's desperate to get this handled before Vergabung.
Maybe you're right. Can you remind me, DM, how far we are from Vergabung? Months now, right?
From this point, it's 5 months.
5 months, yeah. So, okay. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
So Vergabung, and then it would have been another. It's every 7 years, right? 6. So it would have been another. It would have been another 6 years until she had the opportunity to dispute this again. You're right. It's probably in an effort to get this handled before Vergabung. Maybe even if she didn't know for sure, she wanted to make sure she didn't get fucked over by Andy. In which case, let's be honest, she made it probably a good call then.
Just business.
Right? So, you're right. Maybe she's totally reasonable. And if we can provide this, this information, let her handle it, try to track this person down if she even wants to. Or she could simply contest and claim that if they're not known, they may as well be dead. Regardless of what helps this mess get out of our plate. Basically, we get Leah's sister back. They can fight this out themselves afterwards.
I just want to know why now. It's been good for 300 years. Everybody's been happy. Symbiotic relationship. Elven spiders. Silk cloth money. A fucking giant town in Silicon Valley. The giant dome to protect it. Why does things have to change? What is wrong with the status quo that the queen wants to take? Even I know there's a contract. I understand that the contract has to be taken care of. There has to be something more to this. That's just my gut feeling. And I don't fucking care about any of it. It's just making me have more to think about. And I have enough to fucking think about.
Well, let's settle on something simple. Let's think about how much money we're going to ask for to handle, seriously, the amount of riches that are going to handle the fucked up lot of shit that is tumbling at us.
How about we tell him to split his net worth with Valir, and then Valir can give us a percentage.
What do we really need other than an airship?
Money.
Yes, I
Money's-
must agree.
Money is nice and all, but
And do you want to go to the magic shop and rob that guy? Or would you just like to walk in and be like, here's 40,000 gold. Let me get that Stone of Ioun.
Fair point. All the money we've accumulated in our travels, vast riches, at least for me, that I had never seen, and still collectively not enough to afford a magical item of that renown. Understandably so, given its rarity. But that's the sort of wealth, Suji, that I want. Because that's the sort of wealth that will get me to the knowledge. That's why I say, Vinteth, in this world, I mean, you're right. Her answers could be valuable. But it is entirely possible that the sheer wealth and the answers that could get us, it's just another way.
So as the five of you discuss amongst yourselves about potential payments, philosophy, and ways to move forward, Valir, you have your father one-on-one, your mother's kind of in a corner, just kind of downing a bottle. Is there anything you wish to say to your father in this moment?
I understand. No. Actually, no. You were just looking out for yourself. I was trying to justify your actions of building this town, building this and that. And I was like, oh, he did it for his family, but we weren't even here yet when you decided to make this contract. You just saw your whatever benefited you. And now I just don't know what to make of it. But that's on your conscience, not mine. My focus right now is to get Viesa, your daughter, my sister. You're gonna get us everything we need to feel secure that we could get in there, in and out. We're not gonna try to fight. We don't know what the Spider Queen is capable of. But just to have some sense of security, which you would provide, of course. Whatever my friends over there need, you're gonna provide. Do you do you still keep in contact with the monastery?
I haven't contacted them since we dropped you off.
I see. So we definitely need people who are not going to be swayed. People who will have some sort of loyalty to us and retrieving Viesa. That's why I ask. I'm sure. Oh, I mean, I know I wasn't the best student over in the monastery, but just being in there, I know there's some sense of loyalty to fellow monks and all. But know you don't want to go to see Spider Queen and all, but I'm just here for my sister. Whatever contract you and her have, whatever you guys need to discuss, that's between you guys. And again, you already know this company's whatever. Like, yes, I enjoy the riches, I enjoy this, and just having some status in my name, but I didn't really care much about the company as you did, as Viesa did. That's why I want to bring you along to this, because you should be the one talking to her. I just want my sister back.
You see, he uncomfortably shifts in the chair. You're right. If that is what you want, I will come along. And of course, anything I can get for you and your friends to aid in our journey, that is what we will have, and that's what you shall get. And of course, you will all be. Your friends will all be fairly compensated for helping in this matter. And you're mostly right. I made this contract desperately for myself. Possibly for the people I was living with. I just want you to know, and I didn't think. See, he hesitates for a second. I didn't think it was possible for me to have any more children. I did not make.
Why didn't you think so?
Children in the elven community are rare. Very few have more than one. Very few parents are able to conceive more than once. We don't know much about it. I just assumed after I conceived my first child, and then I don't know how the Spider Queen's DNA factors into the fact that that conception was easier, but when I met your mother and the town was taking off, I didn't think having another child was a possibility. I was not anticipating having a family for when I left. I was anticipating leaving a will to your mother and allowing the legal system to kind of take its time. I'm sorry. I wasn't a good father to any of you. I think it was. No. You see, give me one more insight check.
All right.
There you go. You see, as he continues this conversation, he gets to a point where you can see it in his eyes, and he's genuinely sad. He is genuinely, ashamed of what he's done and how this has come about. Um, and as he's having this conversation with you and explaining, you know, parts of his thought process behind it, you can see he chokes back an excuse. You can see he was getting ready to make another excuse of why he did what he did, and he thinks better of it. He doesn't have the heart to sit here and keep making excuses for why he did what he did. Um, he just kind of hangs his head a little bit. I'm sorry, and we will make this right. Get your sister back, and we will move from there.
That's the only thing I could ask for right now. Just my sister back. And I know you mentioned before that you got your that previous woman, Fiona, pregnant, just left, and just to fulfill, like, have a safety net for that contract. But if there's anything you could remember about her likeness, her, just any clue that I can go by in case myself or Viesa decide to look for him, to tell him a little bit more about himself, because as you mentioned, he has a human mother. She's probably long gone. Who knows if he's still around? I think, I don't know. It might be. It might be nice for him to know a little bit more about his history and his father. So if there's anything you could vaguely remember, please let me know now.
You see, he takes that piece of paper, that letter that he had presented you, and he just starts. You see, he starts just writing down. It's not perfect sentences. It's just anything he can remember. Small details, eye color, hair color, um, the more about the town that he met her in. So he spends a few minutes, but he does fill out as much detail as he can physically recall. But when he's done, he folds up the letter and he hands it back to you. Talk to your friends, figure out what you need. I will start making calls and go prepare myself for travel. You just let me know
Appreciate
when
it.
you want to leave. I will make all the preparations I can.
Sounds like a good plan, and I do appreciate you coming with us and pretty much taking responsibility for this whole thing. This, again, contract has nothing to do with myself, Viesa, mother. It's between you and the Spider Queen. So, despite everything, all this history of yours that you've been hiding from all of us, it does make me feel slightly better and proud of you that you're willing to own up for this and deal with this at the end. I kind of just like pat him on the shoulder and go off to the rest of the party.
He is your father. Stands up, exits the room to head towards his office to gather his things and start preparing, writing missives to get to the people he needs to get to. Valir, you rejoin the party as you all gather here in the dining hall to figure out what your next steps are, figure out what resources you need. That is where we'll pick up next time.
We better hope that Spider Queen doesn't hint at any forbidden knowledge, or Vinteth is gonna betray the shit out of it. Yeah, fuck you guys! I want to know it all.
Not betraying anybody, just different
I'll
priorities.
tell you everything. Just kill your friends real quick.
Oh, is that all I have to do? Why didn't you say so?
Yeah, good luck with that.
You guys are safe because you're useful.
What a classy guy. I mean, I did say I was coming to know and trust some of the members of this group.
You guys are
Who's gonna
privy.
gloss over the fact that Suji's gonna try to fuck her? That's gonna happen.
I mean, that's expected.
That was one thing I wanted to ask in the zone.
Oh my God.
Fuck with what's it called?
Suji's like, was it good?
So how was the spider sex?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I
How,
literally
how
just
thick
literally
was
like,
she?
Oh my God, do you want his poor mother to kill herself? Because he was under a zone of truth. What if he just looked at you and was like, so good. It was the best.
I'm assuming she has to have some kind of humanoid form. I'm not willing to believe that this
No, this is a
man
spider,
fucked a
dude.
giant spider.
I
Literally fucked a
believe-
spider.
I think that's how it went down.
he sat on his face, inserted at the same time because she's massive.
All hail
no.
the spider.
I love the fact that when sexuality does come up in Roach's campaign, it's always just weird and hilarious. It's never like
Just like
bad.
bad sex life.
Goddamn right, Chris. Goddamn right.
I mean, it's only come up like what, twice?
Yeah, no, I think well, yeah, like the I mean, not explicitly, but like the Jason thing. But again, it just got weird and hilarious.
That's
This other campaign.
Well, an information broken named Chauncey is an infosexual, so that also happened.
An infosexual.
He did.
And then in his other campaign, he's also got a character who is basically sexually attracted to aspects of the story. He gets very excited when hearing about the tales and
Oh my
adventures.
Yes.
Very excited.
Oh man.
Yeah, so that was a lot of damn, Valir. So your world is shaken up.
Absolutely.
You have a
Yeah,
brother.
you
You might be
feel-
my uncle.
A lot of weird shit going. Yeah, you might be related to Twice Lucky Ned. No,
Terrible.
I was just thinking about him. No, I thought Roach was gonna fuck with us or do something like real weird. Like his dad was gonna be like, "Oh yes," and and I remember, it was a lovely day and blah blah blah, and like, oh, I found her favorite flower, and then later that day when we made love, and she knows that is the day that she became pregnant. She always called it the day that she was lucky twice. Everyone's just like, no, no. Roach is like, fuck, I gotta rewrite it now.
So I will say there was part of me when I was writing this that was gonna mess up with the timeline, because I did toy with the fact of Vinteth being Valir's half brother, and therefore also giving Vinteth the mindfuck moment of he's half elf, not full elf.
Oh
Yeah. I thought you were going that direction at first, and I was like, this motherfucker.
Yeah, it's true. Because if half elves are this uncommon, we don't actually know if they're passable. Like there might be half elves passable as elves.
He's unpure.
Yeah.
I did. There was a moment writing this story where it's like I could fuck with fucking Vinteth so badly right now. But I'm like,
He finds
time.
out all of a sudden, as all the doubt is creeping in, he hears that wonderful voice, the voice of the mother speaking to him. Why do you think I haven't been talking to you all this time, Clint?
You're both of me and my brother Crone. No!
You get to talk to both of them, but the catch is they're both like bickering as they do it. They're
Oh,
bickering with each other as they
God.
try to.
That's why I was so quiet during that whole revelation. There was another kid. I was like, oh, no. I'm just letting this play out. I'm shutting up.
Vintat saw his future unfolding.
I heard Vertrag, and then we went down the Moran path. I was like, oh, fuck.
Wait. Are you saying that you saw a possible timeline playing out?
All I know is that I'm not 300 years old, thank fuck, so...
Yeah,
unless there's some other weird shit going on where I don't remember being born or raised, and that's all implanted memories or some weird,
come on, that's
contrived bullshit.
ridiculous. Hundreds of years of memory being erased? And
Yeah.
come on, we've never heard of anything like that.
Nope, exactly.
That's basically why I had the one weird moment, because there was a side chat with me and Joe, and he was like, I basically asked kind of question. He's like, I better not be the firstborn son. I'm like, we didn't ask that question, right? Since I thought he was just talking about being like, oh, we haven't talked about the first. That's why I made the vow, because I was like getting a drink.
Yeah.
There's also a lot of coincidence there because Vintet is also a Shatterkai elf.
Yeah.
So it's like there's a lot of overlap there.
So I was like,
Sure is.
fuck.
Okay, I know we haven't chosen a party name, but I feel like we might have to, for the reasons of because as part of this contract, I'm not asking for use of an airship. I'm going to ask him for an airship to the group, so we all own it. We can put our names down there, but we gotta have a group name. We gotta have the party name. So think about it. Think about it. In
Little
anticipation.
helpers.
Little helper.
I don't think
I
I'll
was-
ever pick anything other than Seven Deadly Sins.
Oh my
It is-
god.
It is pretty. That is a pretty good name. If we wanted something more, it's more like cliched, but it does really work for our group. Something like the Mystic Seekers or just the Seekers, because we all have a lot of really wild shit we are looking for.
We're the protectors of the realm.
Nah, man, just heroes.
Yo,
Straight to the
all we
point.
know is that
Heroes.
there's a Warforged, and that is it.
Let's go with Guardians of the Galaxy. We won't get sued
I
for
actually
that.
I actually do really like Seven Deadly Sins, but it's like, is that the message?
No.
that
We're
people
sevens.
understand?
Sevens deadly sins.
Seven.
Oh, I like that.
Okay, you know what? Yeah, vote. I'm calling a vote.
You know I'm voting for my own name.
Alright, we have one yes. I am going to yay on that one. What say you, Chris?
I mean, I was the one who threw it out.
I know. I just we're doing the vote, Chris.
Yeah.
This is a formal process here. So that's 3 yeses. So basically, one more yes, and it's decided. Which of you? No, I do want universal agreement. So I would like everyone to like it. So if we do it. So.
I like it as a player, as a character. I fucking hate it.
yeah.
In campaign, we only need a democratic vote, so that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, as a character, I'm sure Volley would be happy to make Seven happy with that.
Yeah. True.
Vintet,
It
just
was
think
a
about it like this.
Sherry.
Vintet, just think about it like this. That's like having an LLC name. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. That's just shit you can throw on a contract. It's not reliable.
I just don't like the being under sevens. People are gonna assume seven is like the leader or the commander, when it's really it's like
No.
nobody knows
That's
what the
the
fuck they're doing.
That's the irony of it, because everyone in this world basically assumes he's like a slave or an automaton. So it's actually it's an interesting twist to it, because would they really think that, or would they think that we are being,
Ironic or something. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Think of how scared people will be of it. They'll be like, they'll mishear us and think we're saying 7 deadly sins and only see 6 of us.
Yeah.
Like, where's the other one hiding?
We
Yeah,
always
that's
got them
true.
shadow people.
That is true too.
It works on too many levels. God damn it.
Tinkers and Zoth could be one person.
It's
Yeah.
genuinely, now that I think about that whole aspect of it, you're right, of making Seven the centerpiece of it, and your argument to it, which in a different world might have had merit. In this world, it doesn't. Nobody fucking thinks he's the leader of this group. So that's perfect. We satiate Seven. He gets to be a happy dude. Yeah. So that's so in campaign, when it comes to whatever time we gotta sign this contract before we go off on this mission, Suji can just name it in campaign and we can have our little assuming you want Suji to have come up with it, which I would hope, because I like that.
Seven's still not allowed to be like the mouthpiece for us.
No. He's not going to be the.
The leader doesn't need to.
Exactly. That's the excuse.
He doesn't know what to do half the time anyway.
He's the shadow CEO.
He's the because he's the enforcer. Yeah, because you got a problem. Well, you're about to deal with Seven's.
You guys are gonna speak to a Karen. It's like, let me speak to your manager. 7 floors. But guess what? I am the manager.
Just rage. Look, man, we got most of the sins covered, I think.
And if we ever, I know that we've counted this, the seventh maybe is like one of the familiars or whatever. But if we ever actually got like a random NPC seventh member, gotta be a bard to tell the story, to write the songs, to tell the tales.
If we have a bard join our party, I'm killing him.
He just identifies as a bard. He's really a cleric.
I'm doubly killing him. I'm killing him, resurrecting him, and killing him again. Then I'm animating him as a dead body, and then killing him again.
Like, you're the worst. No, because he comes from the equivalent of like whatever this world's like Southern gospel churches, but he just got way too into singing. So he's like, forget this God stuff. I just love the music.
I like
it's perfect. That's actually, I like that backstory because it's just ridiculous enough to be a real person.
Yeah. Like it's getting paid, none of this. Now I got 7 people to make sure I don't get murdered so I can keep telling the story. They already start the one song about being heroes. I can work with that. It's fine.
It turns out this was actually Roach's master plan with starting with the naming of this group, because this is Seven's story.
Yeah.
God of history. It turns out, you live long enough, you can learn anything. Seven one day is like a scholar of the New World Order writing his book.
Yeah, someone just knocked on the door.
Seven was Rugbarg as like OG librarian.
Yeah. It's like, that's why I needed spider legs. I had to get to the top shelf.
Seven's deadly sins: how my flawed past led to your utopian future.
There we go. I'm gonna start a cult.
Who's to say what the future may hold?
It's the Church of Seven. Praise Rugbarg or get eaten.
That's the catchphrase.
His campaign's gonna be root bar stores are too big.
Yeah.
No one can get in.
These stairs take too long to walk up.
They're having to work in teams.
Yeah.
Building pyramids.
Build little people stairs on the big people stairs.
Yeah.
All right, I'm ending the stream there. Goodbye. Good night.
Bye, stream.
Bye.